pavilion you see there is the pavilion of the host nation, the UAE pavilion. The wings you see around the pavilion are 28, and the inspiration behind the architecture of the pavilion is in the shape of a soaring falcon. As we all know, the falcon is the national bird of the UAE. This pavilion is fully powered by solar panels, as we can see it on top. And inside the pavilion, they have suns from all seven emirates. It tells you the history of how the UAE went from 7 separate nations to 1 country in general.
Grabe pila ng UAE. What? The rose is first, right? Huh? I don't go there. What is like that? Hi.
Right in front of us is the Al-Wasl Dome. This is the heart of Expo. It's called Al-Wasl because in Arabic, Al-Wasl means connection, as it's the connection point of all 3 districts of Expo 2020.
Hangin. Yes, hangin.
We have the smaller pavilions. These pavilions belong to nations or countries that are able to afford building their own standalone pavilions, but they also contain countries that are all about the theme of this specific district, which is opportunities, and also working towards achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
Kaliyaan din. Sinarayaw din. Fountain in this side.
Coming up on my left-hand side, we have the Luxembourg Pavilion. As we all know, this district is fully focused on how we can achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. So the Luxembourg gives the world a sneak peek into how they're working towards achieving it. And they also have a huge slide, both for adults and children. So if you like some adventure, that is the right place to go.
Dari yun.
Kaya para may mawag
Coming up on my right hand side, we have the Good Place by Expo Live. This is fully Sheikh Mohammed's vision as he invited innovators around the world to show how they are working towards the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Now the architecture of this pavilion is in shape of a tent. Now this represents the tent under which Sheikh Zayed and Sheikh Rashid came together to form the United Arab Emirates. And on my left-hand side is the United Kingdom Pavilion. This pavilion is in shape of the inspiration of the architecture is in shape of a seashell. It's more of innovation. When you walk into the pavilion, they give you an iPad. You write any poem you want to write, and it appears outside for everyone to see. This pavilion is in the vision of Steven Spielberg, and it is also the only pavilion in Expo which was designed by a woman. Next we have Ukraine. Ukraine is on a mission to build its own digital city. So it's all about technology inside. And they also have the world's fastest e-scooter. So if you're curious on it, this is the Ukraine Pavilion. If this is your first time at Expo, I'm sure you've seen the Visitor Center. This is a place of convenience if you want to use the restroom, if you want to charge your phones, if you want to ask for any sort of information, this is the right place to go. And we arrive at our first hop on a hopper. If you'd like to hop off to visit any of the pavilions we've seen, this is the right place. And thank you for your patience, and we'll be waiting soon.
Dito, balik kita buat stroller. Station. Hindi ako po, kayaknya tidak ako. Tapi aku tadi nasikin kok. Coba nanti tak itu. Nah itu tanya ACW. Bisa di parang kita ya betul. This kan dia kita 174 udah. Oh sudah pasti. Tanya sama Cynthia yang tadi atau sama mamanya yang di alih-alih itu. Dia kan tahu kita tuh. Ya. Oke, tolong ya. Sleepy na? Berapa lama sih naik kereta ini?
Mademoiselle, mademoiselle.
Ini aku masih di opportunity berhenti.
And we continue our trip. Thank you very much for your patience. And coming up on my left-hand side, we have the Monaco 360. And the shape of the pavilion is in shape of a wrap. Monaco, as a known island, is working towards building a sustainable city. It's a city on top of the ocean. They're going to build it in a way that the ocean life and the people can live harmonious together. And they have a lot of the heritage to show as well. And on my left-hand side, the next pavilion is where the Wittenberg House. This is the only pavilion in Expo that represents a state and not a country. And if you are a fan of Mercedes-Benz, this is the House of Benz, and it's also where Mercedes-Benz originates from.
Indonesia.
Next is Indonesia. Indonesia is all about their culture, their heritage, and is one of the few pavilions that often has a show to entertain their audience every afternoon, as we can see right now. So if you're curious on what's going on in Indonesia, please take a sneak peek. Next pavilions are Lebanon Pavilion, which is all about the culture of Lebanon. And coming right up is the eye-catching pavilion, which is one of the biggest pavilions we have here in the Opportunity District. This is the Pakistan Pavilion. And it is the only pavilion that broke a record of welcoming 500,000 visitors in the first 70 days of Expo. It gives you a sneak peek into a different side of Pakistan the world doesn't know. So we really encourage our guests to have a sneak peek in. Next is the Kingdom of Bahrain. The Bahrain Kingdom is all about their culture, their heritage, and if you're a fan of pearls, this is the House of Pearls, as Bahrain is one of the few countries around the world with original pearls. And they also have a live breeding stations for those who are interested in that. These sticks are actually point inside when you go there interactive. They're trying to show you that even though Bahrain is a country of different cultures, they come together as one to represent the country.
Iraq. Tigris.
Coming up, we have the Iraq Pavilion and the Brunei Pavilion. These are basically more about their culture and let you know what the country is all about. But on my right hand side, we have the Mission Festival Pavilion. This is the main pavilion of the Opportunity District. It's all about how the world is working together to achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals. It's also the home of the United Nations Hub. So if you're curious on some of the projects the United Nations is working to achieve, kindly visit the Mission Festival Pavilion.
Busy man siya rin sa katawo. Oh.
Enough na. Hey, now we're watching there. Wait, send. Where's send? Where's the send?
Ara, robot is there. See, look. You want to go down na?
Coming up on my left hand side, we have the Norway Pavilion. The pavilion is in shape of a ship. As we all know, Norway is surrounded by water bodies, so they are working together to show how they can save the fishes in the ocean life from harm. And we come to our next hop on and hop up. If you would like to hop up to visit any of the pavilions, this is the right place. I'll sit tight.
Yan dito magawa. Cellphone lagi ako nyo kapot. You want to go down? I don't know why you're playing the mobile only.
If you like some free coffee or some culture along with it, the Columbia Pavilion on my left hand side is the right place to go. The pavilion is in shape like it's an incomplete building. It's a way of the pavilion telling people that Colombia is open to businesses and investments. So if you're interested in that, kindly visit the Colombia Pavilion. On my left-hand side next is Belarus, as Belarus is the home for 10,800 freshwater lakes. It's all about nature and the infrastructure, so kindly visit the Belarus pavilion. Yeah. Next, we have one of the biggest pavilions in the Opportunity District. This is the China Pavilion. The inspiration of the pavilion is the shape of a lamp. So the name of the pavilion is called the Light of the World. We're in the year of the tiger, and China is all about autonomous, flying cars and technology, and how the country is working towards achieving some of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So we encourage our visitors to strongly visit the China Pavilion. Next to the China Pavilion is the Austria Pavilion. In shape of a crown, the pavilion was built with a unique type of clay, and this clay cools down the pavilion inside. It's one of the few pavilions that does not use air conditioning. Coming right up is the Switzerland Pavilion. The Switzerland Pavilion is a good when you're climbing in. It gives you a feeling of you're climbing up the Swiss Alps. And when you go inside, they have artificial flats that makes you feel like you're
And you
on top
can
of
see
the
your
Alps.
image
We
there.
strongly encourage people to visit it
building.
and
See,
get
you
a
can see
sneak
there.
peek of what it feels like to be in Switzerland.
We didn't go. They'll give you an umbrella.
Coming right up is another one of the visited pavilions we have. As you can see the people outside. This is the Egypt Pavilion. As we all know, Egypt is very rich in history and their legacy, but the one reason why a lot of people are queued up to see it, they have a sarcophagus of one of the chief priests. Is more than 5,000 years old. His name was Sumtek, so they brought it all the way from Egypt to show the world and to also share some of their heritage with the world.
Now we are here. See, this is Saudi Arabia already. We are here. Yeah. It will stop here.
Is it near mobility? Near mobility or not?
Mimop?
Mobility. I need to get down in mobility actually.
Mobility?
Sorry, Alfonsan.
Alforsan, I don't know.
We also I confused.
No, Alforsan, there is one restaurant near the Wasil. Alforsan.
Over
No,
here
no,
on the
Alfonso
left-hand
Park,
side, Egypt
the
Pavilion is giving
Alfonso
us a
Park, I don't
replica
know.
of the Nile River, as it is the longest river in the world.
Alforsan Park here. See, look.
Oh, okay. So I just get down here. What to do, yani?
Yeah. Alforsan.
If you're
Arrow
a fan
going
of the
that side.
aviation industry, the Emirates Pavilion on my left-hand side is the next place to go to. It gives you a sneak peek into what the next generation or what the future of flying will be. They also give you the opportunity to create your own airplane. But this is one of the few pavilions that is not booking. You need to book early. So we actually encourage guests that if you plan on visiting the Emirates Pavilion ahead of time, you need to book a couple of days before you actually explore Expo. And on my right-hand side, we have the Palestine Pavilion. It's all about the culture of Palestine and shares more of their heritage with the rest of the world.
Fun Park, see the arrow? No, they will not stop. They'll stop at the...
Coming right up on my left hand side is the Kazakhstan Pavilion. The pavilion is designed in shape of a tent, as they were nomads. This is one of the few pavilions with one of the beautiful highlights. It has a waterfall in the middle of the pavilion. And to make you feel a little bit of Kazakhstan, they often have some entertainment outside just to keep the guests inside all the way to get inside the pavilion.
Why we keep on going and going?
Of course, you ride a train, then it will keep on going, right?
Next is the USA Pavilion. The pavilion is all about astronomy, as they have a live real rock from the moon inside for display. So if you're curious on what it feels like to touch a rock from the moon, kindly visit the USA Pavilion. Next is DP World. As we all know, DP World is all about logistics, so they're trying to show the world what the next generation, what the future of logistics will be like. The Pure structure we see outside is called the Hyperloop. It is the future of traveling, as a trip from Abu Dhabi to Dubai will be done in 10 minutes with the Hyperloop.
Why?
I want to sleep.
You're hungry? Daddy hungry na po, no?
And this is our final hop on and hop off. If you'd like to hop off to visit any of the pavilions, this is the right place.
Ah, pwede pala mag-stop. Okay. Ate, stop.
Why? This row is
Ate Ara, you sit down there with Dada. I'll take a picture on you. Dali.
Here, this in, this dirty.
Pero ka masudang di daw, na-reflect ka sudang niya. Na-reflect. Hello, look at here. Ah, pangita ganyan din. May park din yan, ano yung park?
Coming right up on my left hand side is the Japan Pavilion. The inspiration of the pavilion is in shape of the paper planes. This is, as we all know, Japan will be hosting the next expo in 2025. So once you visit the pavilion, they give you a little sneak peek into what Japan will have to show the world in 2025. But it's one of the few pavilions where it's difficult to enter. You need to book ahead of time, or else there is always a waiting line of about 2 hours. Right in front of us is the Indian Pavilion. As we all know, India is very rich in their culture and also their history, so they really have a lot to show the world. The blocks we see on top are 75, and they show 75 years of India's independence.
Indian Pavilion ini, oh. Nanganakit tayo. Mga Indian sa na.
Next is the Israel Pavilion. The pavilion is really open, as it shows Israel is open to welcoming all sorts of people from different religions, different traditions. And as you climb up the pavilion, it gives you an illusion of climbing up the desert. And next is one of the most sustainable pavilions we have right here, is the Italy Pavilion. The ropes you see on top are made up of 100% plastic, recycled plastics. And the mountain-like structure and the floors of the pavilion are made up of 100% orange peels. If you're a fan of art, they have a 3D replica of Michelangelo inside. They also have a statue of David from David and Goliath. And if you are also a fan of the Italian cuisine, the Italy Pavilion is actually the right place to go.
Nasa nga train, oh. Tuloy niya nga, train na daw, ano. Tulong nga part. Ay,
If you ever come to the sustainability district and you would like to have an Expo Explorer experience, right in front of Spain, which you can see the cone-like structure, that is where the next step is.
Mapi malum. Germany. What's he doing there?
Feeding roses.
Coming right up on my left-hand side is DIC, Dubai Investment Corporation. It basically gives you a story or a sneak peek into how Dubai is investing in its own infrastructure and also its people. And if you have some coins lying around and you'd like to invest it in Dubai, this is actually the right pavilion for you.
Oh.
Coming right up is Campus Germany. This is actually the most visited pavilion
Give
we
me your
have right
hand.
here at Expo. It's
me your
called
hand.
Campus Germany because it not only talks about opportunity, but it talks about the other two sub-themes, sustainability and mobility. And it's called Campus Germany because it really has interactive activities inside, so it makes you feel like you're more in a school and also a playground. And it's one of the pavilions that also always has a huge queue in front of it. So we kindly encourage our guests to download the Expo app and use the smart queue as it gives you direct access into the pavilion instead of waiting in line for a couple of minutes or hours.
Yan ang sinakyan, oh. Explorer. Another? Yeah.
And on my right hand side we have Iris. It's one of the popular English restaurants.
We are here
It
already.
also has a shisha hut on top, so if you'd like to relax after a long day of walking around Expo, Iris is the right place for you.
Yeah, see the horse is here. See the horse. May gadli do ngayon ta horse oh.
As we approach the end of our tour, we'd like to thank you very much for joining Expo Explorer. We encourage you to use the Smart Queue and Expo app so that you can have direct access into the pavilion instead of waiting hours or minutes in line. We encourage you to stay hydrated, and once again, thank you for using the Expo Explorer.
Okay, let's go down. Thank you.